Imagine you are a tank commander in the Donbass. You have rolled forward under the cover of a tree line, confident that your armor and your crew are invisible to the enemy. Then, 400 meters above you, a Ukrainian FPV drone the size of a pizza box finds your exhaust signature. 15 seconds later, your $3 million machine is a burning tool. That scene has played out thousands of times in Ukraine since 2022. And in May 2025, a version of it played out over Pakistan's western air bases. Welcome to the drone revolution. And in today's episode, we go deep. Drones have collapsed the cost of precision warfare. Curious, a $500 Kamikaze FPV drone can destroy a $2 million howitzer. That equation changes everything. For decades, military doctrine separated conventional warfare, state versus state, armies, tanks, jets, from asymmetric warfare, insurgencies, guerrilla tactics, non-state actors. Curious, drones have erased that line. In conventional warfare, drones now serve as the persistent eye in the sky. Hail platforms flying at 50,000 feet, watching troop concentrations around the clock. They serve as precision strike platforms, replacing manned aircraft for dangerous seed missions. And they serve as swarm weapons, overwhelming expensive air defense batteries with attritable, cheap munitions. In asymmetric warfare, the calculus is even more disruptive. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and Iranian-backed militias have all demonstrated that a non-state actor armed with $2,000 drones can hold a $13 billion aircraft carrier at threat. Surprised? Cheap loitering munitions have given irregular forces a standoff strike capability that was previously reserved for major powers. The Ukraine-Russia conflict gave us the lab. Iran's conflict with the US and Israel in 2025 gave us the next chapter. And India's Operation Sindoor gave us the first full-scale drone war between two nuclear-armed nations. Together, they define the new rules of war. Let's break down the drone universe. Because when people say drone, they could be talking about something the size of a hummingbird or a wingspan wider than a Boeing 737. The taxonomy matters. Hail, high altitude, long endurance, the strategic eye. Hail drones like the American RQ-4 Global Hawk and India's MQ-9B Seaguardian cruise at 50,000 to 60,000 feet with endurance of 30 to 35 hours. They carry a suite of synthetic aperture radars, SIGINT collectors, and electro-optical cameras. They don't fight, they watch. And at that altitude, over that distance, they see everything. Think of Hail as the all-knowing satellite that never needs to recharge. Mail, medium altitude, long endurance. The workhorse of modern drone warfare. Platforms like the US MQ-9 Reaper, endurance 27 hours, payload 1,700 kilograms, armed with Hellfire missiles, Israel's Heron TP, and China's Wing Loong to operate at 20,000 to 30,000 feet. They can stay on station for a full day, conduct ISR, and then strike. India's II Heron operates in this class. The Wing Loong 2, which Pakistan now fields in numbers around 50, carries precision-guided munitions with a 32-hour endurance and a service ceiling of 32,500 feet. Tactical mini UAV short range, fast to deploy. India's ideaforge switch, used extensively along the LAC and LOC, is a hybrid VTOL platform delivering real-time ISR to frontline commanders. These are the company commander's eyes. Launched from a backpack, flying for 90 minutes, streaming HD video back in real time. Loitering munitions, Kamikaze drones. The weapon that changed the calculus of air defense forever. A loitering munition is launched, circles a target area, sometimes for hours, and then dives to destroy. Key platforms, II Harop, Israel-India 200 kilometers range, 6-hour endurance, anti-radiation seeker homes in on enemy radar emissions. Used lethally in OP Sindoor. II Harpy, Israel-India older system, pure anti-radiation, autonomous radar killer. Iran shot 136 Geran 2. Russia renamed the weapon that kept the lights off in Kiev. Turbofan-powered, 2,000 kilometers range, $20,000 per unit. Sheer volume overwhelmed Ukraine's expensive Patriot batteries. Nagastra 1, Solar Industries. India's first indigenous loitering munition, combat-proven in OP Sindoor. 30-plus kilometer range, precision GPS guidance. Sky Striker, Elbit Alpha Design India co-produced in India. 100 kilometers range, used in Sindoor. UCAVs, unmanned combat aerial vehicles. These are purpose-built strike platforms. Turkey's Bayraktar TB2 became globally famous in Nagorno-Karabakh and Ukraine. Male class, 27 are endurance, carries MAML smart micromunitions. Pakistan operates TB2 and the more advanced akinci. China CH-7 stealth ucav represents the next frontier, low radar cross-section, designed to penetrate integrated air defense systems. The Shahed 136 made the world rethink air defense. Curious, at $20,000 a copy versus $1 million per interceptor missile, Iran and Russia found the perfect economic weapon. Talk about what India actually has in the field right now, because Operation Sindoor in May 2025 was, in a very real sense, the Indian drone forces coming out party. We're excited, Heron and Heron TP, the backbone developer, Israel Aerospace Industries, operator, Indian Army, Navy, Air Force, procured over 90 units across variants. The Heron MKII has been upgraded with SATCOM links for beyond line of sight operations. Specs, 52 are endurance, ceiling 35,000 feet, payload up to 470 kilograms. EO/IR cameras, ELN 2055 ground surveillance radar, comment payloads. Combat use, continuous surveillance along the LAC and LOC. During the Galwan standoff in 2020, Herons provided real-time imagery of Chinese PLA deployments in Depsang and Hot Springs. Not armed, but the intelligence they fed was critical. Thoughtful, IAI Harop, the radar killer developer, IAI, Israel, operator, Indian Army and Air Force, procured multiple batteries, classified numbers. Each launcher fires 18 loitering munitions. Specs, 200 kilometers range, 6-hour loiter, passive anti-radiation homing seeker that locks onto radar emissions. Combat use, this is the star of Operation Sindoor. On the night of May 8 to 9, 2025, Harop drones were deployed in 3 waves against Pakistani air defense nodes. Indian government briefings confirmed 1 drone destroyed an air defense radar in Lahore. Pakistan's own defense minister admitted they chose not to intercept some drones, a statement that drew international ridicule and exposed the Harop's penetrating capability. MQ-9B Seaguardian, America's gift to the Indian Ocean developer, General Atomics, USA, operator, Indian Navy, procured 2 units on lease since 2020, 2 more approved December 2025. Full purchase of 31 units, 15 Navy, 8 Army, 8 Air Force, approved under US FMS. Deliveries expected from 2026. Specs, endurance 40 hours, ceiling 45,000 feet, payload 2,155 kilograms. Radar, ASA, full SIGINT suite. Combat use. The 2 leased Seaguardians have logged over 12,000 operational hours tracking Chinese PLA Navy vessels in the Indian Ocean. They tracked the Chinese carrier Shandong during its 2024 Indian Ocean transit. Currently unarmed, but the procured variants will carry Hellfire and precision-guided munitions. Nagastra 1, India's own loitering munition developer. Solar Industries, Nagpur. Operator, Indian Army. Procured, first batch of 480 units delivered to the Indian Army in 2024. Specs, 30 kilometers range, 60-minute loiter, 1 kilogram warhead, GPS plus EO terminal guidance, recoverable if target not engaged. Combat use. Deployed during OP Sindoor by army units along the LOC. PM Modi himself inaugurated Solar Industries' Nagpur testing facility in March 2025, signaling political endorsement at the highest level. Ideaforge Switch and Ninja, the tactical eye developer. Ideaforge Technology, Mumbai. Operator, Indian Army, Paramilitary. Procured, emergency procurement orders worth 137 crore rupees placed in 2024-25. Ideaforge is now India's largest UAV manufacturer and ranked 3rd globally among dual-use drone makers. Specs, Switch, 90-minute endurance, VTOL, 400m operational ceiling, IP67 waterproof, operates in -10 degrees Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius. Holds DGQA, fit for Indian military use certification. Combat use. Used extensively during Sindoor for real-time frontline surveillance. Also used in anti-Naxal operations in Chhattisgarh and during the Pahalgam attack investigations. Warmate R and Warmate 3, Polish loitering munitions developer. WB Electronics, Poland. Operator, Indian Army, procured via emergency route. deployed in OP Sindoor as part of the mixed loitering munition salvo in Wave 2 targeting Pakistani radar installations. Thoughtful, India went into Operation Sindoor with an improvised drone force, a mix of battle-proven Israeli systems, indigenous startups, and emergency procurements. Size, it worked, but it also exposed how much more India needs to build. India's drone program is now in a race against China's scale, Pakistan's Chinese-supplied arsenal, and the rapidly evolving lessons of every drone war being fought across the globe. Curious, here is what India is building. Tapa's BH-201 Rustam 2, India's male aspirant developer, DRDO's Aeronautical Development Establishment, ADE, Bangalore. Target specs: 28,000 feet ceiling, 18 plus hour endurance, 350 kilograms payload. Status: as of early 2026, 65 flight tests completed. Weaponized trials pending. ATGM integration planned. Has repeatedly missed performance targets, leading to demotion from mission mode status in 2024. The Parallel Archer NG program, first flight scheduled March 2025, is now being positioned as the real male successor. Analysis: Tapas is India's cautionary tale about the gap between ambition and delivery in state-run R&D. Size: the program has taken over 15 years. China fielded the Wing Loong 2 in under 8. CATS Warrior, loyal wingman ucav. Developer: HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, with new space research. Specs: unmanned combat aircraft designed to fly alongside manned Tejas and Su-30 MKI jets as autonomous, loyal wingmen. Twin jet, 500 kilograms payload, AI-driven mission autonomy. Can carry air-to-air and air-to-ground precision munitions. Status: technology demonstrator flown. Full development ongoing. Not yet inducted. Strategic significance: a loyal wingman multiplies the strike package of every manned sortie. If India's Rafale hits 5 targets on a sortie, a CATS Warrior escort hits 3 more. Pakistan has no equivalent indigenous program. DRDO Ghatak, Aura, India's stealth ucav developer. DRDO Aeronautical Development Agency with IIT Bombay and IIT Kanpur. Specs: flying wing platform, internal weapons bay, stealth characteristics, powered by a modified dry thrust Kaveri engine. Comparable in concept to China's Sharp Sword GJ-11 stealth ucav. Status: budget allocations began flowing in 2024. Estimated induction 2030 to 2032. India's most ambitious unmanned program. ALS 50 loitering munition, TESL, developer, Tata Advanced Systems Limited. Status: combat proved in Operation Sindoor. Formerly in procurement pipeline. Precision terminal guidance, longer range than Nagastra 1. JM1, Jonete Technologies, AI Kamikaze, India's first fully autonomous AI-guided loitering munition. Made its combat debut in Operation Sindoor. 100% indigenous design. We're excited on the fast track to full induction post-Sindoor. Swarm drone programs, multiple private sector and DRDO programs for coordinated swarm attacks. 52-200 drones launched in synchronized waves. IIT Kanpur, Ideaforge, and RAFE M-Fiber are leading research. Curious, no operational swarm capability yet. But the Sindoor lesson is clear. India needs this urgently. DRDO's Ghatak and HAL's CATS Warrior represent India's leap from a drone consumer to a drone producer. But timelines matter. Serious, China is not waiting. Operation Sindoor was a tactical success. But success in a 4-day border operation against Pakistan is a different challenge from a sustained two-front conflict with China and Pakistan simultaneously. When analysts look at India's drone capabilities against those benchmarks, 6 major gaps emerge. Surprised? Gap 1. Fleet size and production scale. India's officially in-service drone fleet is under 200 units. China has deployed thousands. The PLA reportedly ordered 1 million tactical drones for combat missions. Pakistan, with Chinese support, fields over 200 MEL-class systems alone, plus 1000 plus tactical and loitering drones. India's procurement pipeline is real. But India is buying dozens where adversaries are building thousands. Size, Gap 2. Indigenous armed male drone, the absent platform. India has no operational armed male drone today. The MQ-9B purchase fills this gap from 2026 onwards. But these are foreign-sourced platforms with potential supply chain vulnerabilities. Pakistan operates Wing Loong 2, CH-4B, and Bayraktar Akinci, all male-class strike platforms. China operates CH-5, Wing Loong 2, and is developing stealth male drones. India's Tapas or Rustam 2 has been in development for over 15 years and remains unarmed. Gap 3. Swarm capability. China has demonstrated coordinated swarm attacks with 200 plus drones. Pakistan's Yiha-3 loitering munitions are being locally assembled into 2-3 days per unit. India has no operational swarm drone capability. In the Ukraine war, drone swarms were used to saturate and exhaust air defense systems, forcing defenders to expend expensive missiles against cheap drones. Against a two-front scenario, India's air defense missile stocks would face exactly this exhaustion risk. Gap 4. Electronic warfare integration. China's drones operate in a deeply integrated electronic warfare ecosystem. The PLA's UAVs carry AESA radars, active jamming pods, and AI-based spoofing systems. India's drone electronic warfare is improving. The army recently denied reports of Chinese hacking of Indian UAVs in the Eastern Theater. But the indigenous EW payload library for UAVs is thin compared to Chinese and Israeli standards. Gap 5. Stealth strike capacity. China has the GJ-11 Sharp Sword and is developing follow-ons, stealth flying wing UCAVs designed to penetrate integrated air defense networks. India's Ghatak is the answer, but it is 6 to 8 years from operational deployment. In the interim, India's strike drones are largely non-stealthy. Against China's layered air defense along the LAC, this limits operational options. Gap 6. High-altitude drone operations. The LAC sits at 14,000 to 18,000 feet. Standard commercial drone engines lose 80% of their power at altitude. India's indigenous drones have struggled to operate effectively above 15,000 feet. Concerned, the Galwan confrontation exposed this. Indian troops on the ground had limited UAV cover at critical heights. China's high-altitude drones operate routinely in Tibet at these elevations. India's real gap is not technology. It is industrial scale and delivery speed. Frustrated, DRDO can design it. India cannot yet build it fast enough. The gaps are real, but India is not standing still. And here is the strategic playbook that analysts, defense insiders, and policymakers are converging on. 3 pillars: Israel, America, and Make in India at scale. Pillar 1, the Israel axis. Battle-tested technology transfer. Curious, India and Israel have the deepest defense technology partnership in Asia. Israel is India's second largest defense supplier after Russia. The harop, harpy, barak 8, and Spice munitions are all in Indian service. What comes next is deeper. Elbit Systems has co-production agreements with Alpha Design Technologies for the Sky Striker. IAI is in discussions for Heron TP technology transfer with HAL. Israel's experience with urban drone warfare in Gaza, with anti-swarm systems like Iron Dome and Drone Dome, is directly applicable to India's akashteer network. Excited, the model is not just by Israeli. It is co-produced Israeli with Indian private sector. The Nagastra 1 is proof this works. India should double down, fast-track the Haropenji joint production line, integrate iron beam directed energy technology into India's counter-drone architecture, and bring Israeli AI targeting algorithms into Ghatak's development. Pillar 2, the American MQ-9B deal. Beyond the transaction, the 31 MQ-9B deal is not just a procurement. It is a Trojan horse for deeper integration. Under the India's Defense Technology and Trade Initiative, DTTI, MQ-9B deliveries come with maintenance ecosystems, training pipelines, and, critically, potential integration of American EW suites and satellite link architectures. India must push for armed MQ-9B variants, not just ISR. Technology transfer for the Avenger, General Atomics jet-powered successor to the Reaper. Access to the Reaper's full mission planning software under the BECA, Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, signed in 2020. The US has strategic interest in a militarily potent India that can hold China at risk in the Indian Ocean. That alignment is leverage India has not fully exploited. Pillar 3, private defense at scale. The Sindoor effect Operation Sindoor changed the conversation inside India's defense establishment in ways that no ministry circular could. When a startup's drone, Jonete Technologies JM1, made its combat debut over Pakistani territory, it proved that India's private sector is ready. What it needs is procurement speed and scale. The PLI, Production Link Incentive, scheme has already attracted Tata, L&T, Mahindra, Adani, and dozens of startups into the drone manufacturing space. The DRDO IDEX, Innovations for Defense Excellence, has funded 300 plus drone-related challenges. What remains is to go from pilots to production orders at scale. The benchmark should be Ukraine's model. Ukraine entered the war with minimal domestic drone production. By 2024, it was producing 1 million FPV drones annually, enough to sustain attritional drone warfare against Russia indefinitely. India's defense industrial base is far larger than Ukraine's. The will, backed by war-tested lessons, must translate into a firm order for 10,000 nagastra-class munitions, 5,000 tactical ISR drones, and a government mandate that no combat drone procured by Indian forces should carry more than 20% foreign content by 2028. The strategic imperative. Doctrine. Not just hardware. Hardware without doctrine is expensive furniture. The most critical gap India faces is not in the drone factory. It is in the joint war-fighting doctrine for unmanned systems. Thoughtful, the US, China, and Israel have embedded drones into every level of their kill chain. India's services still treat drones as an ISR adjunct rather than as a primary strike asset. Post Sindoor, there are signs this is changing. The Army's akashteer automated air defense system, integrated with counter-drone sensors and drone interceptors, is a doctrinal step forward. Excited, the New Space and Network Defense Agency acknowledges that future wars will be won in the electromagnetic spectrum as much as in the sky. India's drone future is not American, not Israeli, not Chinese. Determined, it has to be Indian. Designed by Indian engineers, built by Indian factories, and flown in Indian skies under Indian doctrine. The drone revolution is not a technology problem. It is a will and a speed problem. China moved from concept to operational wing loong in 8 years. India took 15 years for tapas and still hasn't done it. The lesson of Ukraine, of Sindoor, of every drone war being fought right now is brutally simple.
India has the engineers, the startups, the strategic partnerships, and after Operation Sindoor, the battle-tested proof of concept. What it needs now is the urgency that matches the threat. Because the next conflict will not wait for a development timeline. And in the new age of warfare, the drone that sees you first wins. You are watching Delta Doctrines, and I am host Arnab Goswami, signing off. Good night.